133.08. I think he's also one of the players who uses a fake powder route, which is pretty interesting. Always like getting to talk about that. It's a fun little glitch. I think he was also on pretty big PB pace in one of his races before he died in the late game. So we'll see if he can get a big PB in this race. Meanwhile, Nicky has a speedrun.com time of 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I guess you could say JaySee's a bit of a favorite in this one, but you never really know. Things can go pretty sideways in this game. And a player with a 2-hour PB, you know, they can PB any run, really, by a lot. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm not sure we do have a... Maybe I'll need to write up a page on the wiki about fake powder. And maybe enlist Pincus's help, since he knows what's actually happening with the code. I don't really know what's happening, I just know that if you do X, Y, and Z, the mushroom functions as the powder. I don't really know why. Both players working their way through escape. This is a pretty boring section of the run. Boomerang, one of only 2 optional items we actually grab in the run. Well, 3 if you count Sanctuary Heart, which I'm sure both of these runners will be getting a Sanctuary Heart. This is a really important room here. Ball and chain can easily kill you if you're not careful. And JaySee's going for the optimal strat. That's a good fight. It's a really good fight. Oh no. Oh no, he got a short boomerang. Okay. Whew. So what happened there, he threw his boomerang down at that guard, but his boomerang just came back to him without hitting the guard. And that's actually a somewhat recent discovery of why that happens. Those guards shoot out these invisible sprites that are used to detect Link when they collide with him. Is when the guard will alert to Link's presence. And your boomerang can actually collide with those sprites. And when they do, or when it does, it just returns to Link. As if it hit an enemy, but it doesn't hit an enemy. It's pretty annoying when that happens. I believe Scrivo discovered that actually, so one of his few discoveries in the game. Shouts to Scrivo. JaySee making his way into the sewers. This section's pretty annoying. There's a lot of little RNG from the enemies you have to react to, the rats and the snakes. And to top it off, a lot of the rooms are dark, meaning your field of vision is just restricted to that little light cone. JaySee having a pretty nice key rat. That rat can go up the left wall into the top left corner, which can be really frustrating to deal with. JaySee finishing up escape. Looked like he had a 57 or a 56, which is pretty good. He will almost certainly be getting this Sanctuary Heart. This is only 3 seconds for a new heart container, so it's really the most powerful safety. And it helps a lot. You might not think, oh, just one extra container, but it really makes a lot of segments in the game much more comfortable, including this one right away for Eastern Palace. Yeah, the magic powder is probably the strongest safety overall. Like, powder is one of the most overpowering items in the game. I guess the problem with powder is that it takes so long to get. Also, you see the runners actually generally preferring to use their boomerang on enemies. Boomerang's actually faster, slightly, but it's only by several frames. But if you think about all the enemies you might have to interact with in Escape in Eastern, it definitely adds up. JaySee will be doing a really important trick soon, and this is one of the reasons Sank Card is so helpful in this particular dungeon. Be doing a bit of a puzzle skit. Ordinarily, to get the big key chest in this room coming up, you need to kill every enemy in the room. But JaySee is gonna take a little damage boost off that Popo, and then get through the anti-fairies to grab that pot and hit that switch. Yeah, normally you need to kill every enemy in the room to get the anti-fairies to leave that pot. That's how the game intends you to do it. But that skip requires you to take a minimum 1.5 hearts of damage. And, with one less heart, it becomes a lot tighter to route your health through this dungeon. Nicky doing a nice back up there to be able to get it after missing the first try. Shoutouts to the map. I want to say Zelda's first 123 in this game had an accidental map in Eastern, so JaySee doesn't have to feel too bad. Can totally get a 123 in this run, right? Oh no. JaySee accidentally kills both Armos to start his setup. You want to shoot only 5 arrows there, so the last Armos has just 1 shot left to kill him. And so when you are at the end of the fight, spamming arrows downwards, you can kill the penultimate Armos and the last Armos almost at the same time. So you don't get the red phase. Nicky doing a different strat here that's slightly easier on your timing. Fighting Armos from the bottom right. He gets a red Armos too, unfortunately. JaySee getting his Pegasus boots, and he will be doing tree rupees. There are 2 rupee routes you can choose to follow in the light world. The first dungeon in the dark world requires 110 rupees to enter, because you have to pay this greedy little monkey to be able to access the dungeon. Oh, okay, he gets through that bridge screen fine. You think Nicky is a she? Well, that would make a lot of sense. I'm sorry if I've used horrible, wrong pronouns. I'll be using she from now on. This Desert Overworld section is pretty difficult to get everything right. There are a couple optional spin speeds you can go for that only save like a half a second. These going to the library and leaving the library specifically. It's really tough to execute these dash routes properly. It's something you don't really pick up on until you try to speedrun the game yourself, is just how hard dashing is. Like, it's basically all frame perfect. There's the specific areas you want to stop and start your dashes. And the community has found the best ways to stop and start each one. You can almost consider every one a frame perfect trick. And being a little off even can sometimes lose a lot of time. Hello, Jakey Numbers. I'm glad you think my voice is sultry. JaySee going to be coming up on the Desert Pig Key Room, which has some random cannonball patterns you can run into. And he gets blocked, unfortunately. Oh, and gets hit on the way out. Hopefully Nicky has better luck in the room. NMG stands for no major glitches, which I guess, yeah, the bot explains it. Basically no glitch that would allow you to skip a dungeon is allowed, and so you have to do all the dungeons in a somewhat normal way. JaySee is going to be coming up on the Lamola's boss fight. You'd probably want to get extra arrows here, or not, interestingly. It's just going to go in with 24. That's a pretty tight arrow route, depending on the strats he does later in the run. But yeah, this is a hard fight. The only thing guaranteed is where they're gonna spawn in this first cycle. But how they move from there is completely random. Where they spawn from there is completely random. Any top player will tell you this is one of their most practiced rooms in the game. It's just really hard to get decent at. JaySee gets through it and has his blue pendant. Wait, the ham is green and green ants and ham too? One of the glitches allowed, I believe we will see on JaySee's stream very soon, is called fake flippers. This is considered a minor glitch. All it does is allow you to swim without the use of the flippers, which he hasn't gotten yet. He's gonna do a little setup on this bush here to get a pixel away from the screen transition before he jumps into the water. And then he scrolls the screen as soon as he jumps in. And on the new screen, the game forgets to check for the flippers. Or doesn't run its check. I shouldn't say it forgets. It's not a person. They just didn't code it to check on the new screen. And yeah, one of the things that can go wrong there is you can get hit, which JaySee nearly got hit. It was pretty close. And when you get hit, the game actually will run its check for flippers. It will want to put you back on land. The problem is you did not jump into the water on that screen. You jumped into the water on the previous screen. So the game doesn't really know where to put you. It can lead to the game sort of like searching infinitely, which is very bad if that happens. Oh, Nicky's just a pixel or two away from the screen transition here. She finally gets it. Oh, nice swim. It was very good swimming. JaySee having a little trouble menuing to the boomerang. The menu in this game is deceptively tough to do well every time. You can't move the cursor until the menu's all the way down, which I think is what was happening in JaySee there. Like, he was just closing it too quickly. Nicky getting in a hero with full hearts, that's always a good feeling. The overworld can be pretty trolly sometimes, especially Death Mountain. Looks like Nicky's actually gonna go for this boomerang dash. Oh no, she's reconsidered. JaySee doing the bomb jump to the Moon Pearl. That's one of the two easier bomb jumps in the run. All you need to do is stand within 6 pixels of the gap, plant a bomb downwards, and then bonk the wall, and so that your bonk animation is happening at some point during the bomb's explosion, which is a pretty big window. There are harder ways to do it though, that save a little bit of time. Nice, both of them getting the arrow drop in the Beatles room. Nicky doing the same bomb jump. Very nice and consistent. The game ordinarily intends for you to do like this little star tile puzzle up on this next floor. Also raise your hand if casually you could never figure that out. Or it took a while to figure it out, and you just ended up in the dark world as a bunny. Because that was totally me as a 6 or 7-year-old. Oh no, Nicky getting the middle hole. That's never fun, because as you see, you actually fall 2 floors down instead of just the 1. And Meldorm is a tough boss to to do consistently. Oh, almost got hit off there. JaySee doing his tree rupees route. I guess I missed commentating the first part of it, but you saw he pulled that tree and got red rupees. He actually manipulated those red rupees to drop by, after pulling the first tree, specifically killing 4 enemies and not taking any damage. Ooh! Okay, it was nice that he preserved sword beams there. Well, actually, I don't know if he goes for sword beam strats in Aghanim's Tower or not. We'll see soon, but sword beams are really nice to have. They certainly help a lot in the first 2 rooms. So we'll see if JaySee does the strat in this room, and he does. Nice. This is a strat found by a Japanese player named Pui. It's technically not the fastest strat in the room, but when you factor in both speed and arrow conservation, it comes out to be the best strategy overall. Since Nicky already has enough rupees from doing Sahasrara route, she won't have to worry about tree rupees or taking damage in Lost Woods or anything, which is nice and comfy. One of the unfortunate things about having sword beams is they alert guards. That was an interesting strat, using the spin there. That actually conveniently avoided him having to alert the guards. Sometimes you can use the alert to your advantage, like here, when he's slashed, you actually want to alert those guards. But sometimes it can also be a curse. And JaySee will be coming up on the Aghanim fight. For anyone who doesn't know, the way Aghanim works is he has a cycle of attacks, where the first attack is a yellow magic attack that you can always hit back at Aghanim. You need to do 6 hits worth of damage from his yellow attacks to defeat him. The following 3 attacks are 50% yellow, or 50% blue, and the blue balls you cannot hit back at him, so it just wastes your time. And then the last attack of a cycle will be lightning. So everyone's getting their guesses in on how many JaySee will get. And he's already gotten 1. JaySee also doing a nice little optimization here, where he's trying to hit Aghanim more towards the center of the room to lower his warp chances. He'll try to do that whenever he can. Meanwhile, Nicky making her way through Aghanim's Tower. I believe JaySee has gotten 3, and this will end the fight. Yep. 3 is the most common count, which is unfortunate because 3 loses 24 seconds, approximately, to 0. And certainly at a high level of play, that really starts to get annoying, that on average you lose that much time. Oh no, Nicky having trouble in this room. The red guards who carry spears move very fast, and they can kind of overwhelm you. JaySee coming up on the aforementioned greedy monkey I was talking about earlier. It's really important to not get hit while you're walking with Kiki here, or else Kiki will run away, and JaySee actually almost got bad RNG there. Meanwhile, Nicky coming up on the Aghanim fight. People can guess again what kind of count she's gonna get. We will award the person who guesses correctly with some whose line is it anyway points. Oh, JaySee taking damage there. It's not too bad to take damage in pod. Oh, I think Nicky got 1 or 2. Or maybe 0 even. Yeah, that was 0. Wow. That's really nice. 0 is only a 1 in 16 chance to happen. So it's always really nice to get. Yeah, I think there's a command. Yeah, that command will show the blue ball probabilities in a somewhat unreadable format, but yeah. 0 is a 6.25%. And yeah, JaySee getting a nice hammer jump there. These Mimics rooms can be really tough to do well. The Mimics are moved. You know, when you play it casually, you probably just assume, oh, they move the way Link moves, or they follow how Link moves. But They actually follow what you press on the D-pad, and you can be doing other things like shooting the bow, or slashing your sword, or charging a dash. You can be doing all these actions that seemingly stop Link, but the mimics are still paying attention to your D-pad. And so, optimizing them often centers on moving them around while you're using an item. It's pretty tough to do. We'll see if Nicky wants to hammer jump here. More and more players start with hammer jump these days, but it's a pretty tough trick. I know, personally, when I was learning the game, I didn't start doing hammer jump until like 136 or something. Oh, and it looks like she is going for it. JaySee with a nice Helmasaur fight. Oh, let's see if she gets it. This is a really tough trick. She needs to plant the bomb on a specific pixel and put Link on another specific pixel. And she gets it. It's very nice. Hopefully JaySee gets through this overworld section without any damage. He avoids the bird, which is pretty smart if you're not comfortable with that dash movement. Some of the enemies on that screen hit really hard, and it can really set you back, especially if you're not going to get powder, which JaySee is not. So Nicky, unfortunately, couldn't have sword beams to hit that switch. Shoutouts to Second Dig Flute. The world record for that, I believe, is 5 dig, though. At least among speedrunners. JaySee unlocking the swag duck. He will not be going to get powder though, because, like I was saying earlier, I believe he does a fake powder route. Oh, Nicky pulling out the arrows. And takes down Helmasaur. Arrows are a nice little backup when things get scary. So you don't have to get right in Helmasaur's face. Yeah, which Clip had voice too. JaySee reacting nice to that RNG or that guy gets in your way. The horse head enemies do a lot of damage. 2 hearts if you touch them. JaySee's going to be coming up on Hellway. This is a really annoying room. There's a single pixel in the middle of the room that you can dash all the way up on. But sometimes even that won't work properly if the enemies get in your way. He had a decent one though, only got hit once and was able to get through. Ouch, these green grasshopper type enemies also do 2 hearts of damage. Which is pretty lame, because they're just like these insects wandering around in the attic of the town. Looks like Nicky will be coming in to get the tavern bottle. Not a bad decision at all. And probably be going up to get the bug catching net right after. And this will allow her to bottle fairies, which are really nice when you're first getting started with speedrunning this game. So that you can be revived on boss fights. JaySee is going to be coming up on Blind. Blind was actually the hardest boss for me when I was a kid, and when I played the game casually, because it's just like total bullet hell. But luckily in the speed run, you can set it up so that it's 100% predictable. And that's what JaySee is doing right now. Like, doesn't have to worry at all. Oh no. Okay. Almost spoke too soon. Had a little mistake there, but recovered nicely. In a speedrun perspective, that's one of the easiest bosses in the Dark World. Possibly the easiest boss in the Dark World. I believe I missed, yeah, Nicky went and got Powder, which is a 35 to 40 second detour in this segment, but Powder is so strong, and, you know, if you've never speedrun this game, or watched much of this game speedrun, You will probably quickly realize why it is so strong. All the anti-fairies and bunny beams in the game, if you sprinkle that powder on them, will turn into fairies. We use the Japanese version of this game for two reasons. One is that the text is quite a bit faster. It saves a minute over English. And another is that the original version of the game was only released in Japan. It's the 1.0 version. And it has a few small glitches we take advantage of. The US version is based on the 1.1 Japanese version, which has some patches and stuff on some of the bugs and glitches we make use of. Overall, the Japanese 1.0 version is estimated to save at least a minute and a half, probably, and probably between a minute and a half and a minute and 45 seconds. Yeah, there has been a second revision. There's 1.2. And I believe the Game Boy Advance version is based on 1.2. But yeah, 1.2 has additional bug fixes. Torch glitch is not doable in 1.2, for instance, on Ganon. JaySee in Skullwoods, Nicky up in the attic at East Town. JaySee really wants that fairy, and he gets it, which is nice. There's no guarantee that fairy comes anywhere near you. It can stay out of bounds indefinitely until it disappears. You see Nicky making use of that powder already to convert that anti-fairy in the Hellway into a actual fairy. JaySee going through Greenham's least favorite room, the mummy statue room. JaySee actually got the fence dash. I missed that, unfortunately. That's pretty hype. JaySee's gonna be going for another bomb jump here. This one works basically exactly like the Hera bomb jump to get the Moon Pearl. Just needs to stand within 6 pixels of the gap. Bonk. While the bomb is exploding, he gets boosted over. Gets the fire rod. Nicky doing a little alternate route here, going back through this room instead of going through the conveyor jellies room, which is safe and only loses a few seconds. She'll be going into fight blind with full hearts, which is nice. JaySee going into the back half of Skull Woods. Nicky sets up blind just fine. Oh, JaySee executing the optimal Mummy Hellway strat. Oh no! But then accidentally dashes into the pit there at the end. That's unfortunate. Oh, Nicky. It's a good thing she survived that fight. Blind, it doesn't take very long to get back to blind from the beginning of the dungeon. It's actually one of the shorter boss deaths you could take. You only lose like 40 or 45 seconds. But blind's also a really big pain to refight because you can't do that initial setup. JaySee having a nice moth. Oh, that's true. She did have a bottled fairy. Which means even if she had died there, she was probably in good shape. JaySee going to be starting out the Ice Palace segment. This segment's going to start out with him getting Quake and Flippers. Quake, you will need to access the Turtle Rock dungeon later in the run. Flippers, you'll need to do Swamp Palace. There's no known way to fake Flippers inside Swamp Palace. These two items are really convenient to group together since they're in the same area of the overworld map, just in different worlds, which you can conveniently mirror after getting Quake and go right into getting Flippers. Meanwhile, Nicky is getting half magic, which is a very strong safety. JaySee will soon be making his way into Ice Palace. There's no way to actually exit this Zor's River. The duck will not come to you here. You need to actually leave the area. And now the duck will come to him. But it turns out it's faster to take this whirlpool here, which puts you right out in front of Ice Palace. I don't know if that statue's far enough over. Okay, she knows it. JaySee gonna be working his way through ice. This is the toughest segment in the middle of the game, in my opinion. This first part's not too bad, but starting at this bomb floor room, it's just like room after room is pretty hard to execute well. And then there's just like a lot of things that can go wrong. If you've watched much of this tournament, you've probably already seen the majority of them. This room can be pretty deadly. Looks like JaySee's getting through just fine though. And he has 3 bombs for executing this bomb jump. And he gets it. That was nice. He was actually doing hammer buffers there to try and get his pixel. Nicky moving into the back half of Skull Woods. Looks like she likes to do this room safely and get all the hearts. Not a bad idea. JaySee coming up on Cold Stare, Nicky coming up on Mafula. Let's hope they have good fights. Cold Stare is particularly deadly. That's nice setup from JaySee. Oh no. They've escaped, but he's done a lot of damage. Yeah, okay. If you've done a lot of damage by the time they escape, it usually isn't too hard to clean up. Nicky getting through Moth. That fight can, Cold Stare fight can be really deadly. Touching any of the puffs does 4 hearts of damage, so they can kill you in literally the blink of an eye. Now we've got simultaneous cutscene time. Josh NPR. Hopefully I'm not making people want to go back to sleep. So it looks like JaySee's gonna go straight to Swamp. There are a couple of routes you can do here, but he's just gonna go straight into the Swamp segment. Swamp is intended as your second crystal. That's how the game considers it. But we're doing it pretty late here. And as a result, we are extremely overpowered for the dungeon, with a lot of hearts, with the Tempered Sword. So generally it's pretty easy. There isn't going to be any big dramatic thing that happens in Swamp, in all likelihood. Nicky will be picking up her Quake and Flippers. Oh, and she missed the throw. That's fine. Swamp is almost like having another edition of Escape in Eastern. It's just very movement focused, very focused on reading enemy patterns and rooms. Nicky is going to be taking the whirlpool to ice here. JaySee doing this convoluted section where Swamp's big key is just really annoying to me. How you have to do all this backtracking and set up just to get over here and grab it. I guess it's worth it in the end for the hook shot, which is definitely one of the coolest items in the game. Nice hammer dash from JaySee there. Nicky on IPBJ, this is a really important trick. This trick basically skips like half the dungeon. Oh, she gets it last second. Being very careful around these pits. You don't want to fall in and have to redo the jump. JaySee coming up on Argus, which is a fairly straightforward boss fight unless you're going for the zero cycle strategy. I'm not sure that he goes for it though. We'll see. Oh, he does. Ah, he mistimed it there. He's having trouble getting it started back up. He's just gonna opt to hook and slash. Oh no, he misses a fire red shot there. You also saw Nicky go up and powder the anti-fairy north of that room with the block he pushed on the switch. JaySee finishes off the Argus fight. Nicky going into Cold Stare. I believe she has full health, she has a bottled fairy, she has half magic, so... And this is a nice fight to have half magic on. If you just have the normal magic meter, you burn all of your magic, melting that ice crystal. And so you're not able to do this, which, like, the puffs are still very susceptible to fire rod damage. She gets through. You're also able to miss a shot on that first phase, which you can't with the normal magic meter. If you miss a shot, you know, GG. You'll be mirroring and going through the dungeon again. JaySee finishing out the longest crystal cutscene in the game, Swamp Palace's cutscene. It's about 55 seconds long. And now he's going to do his errands with getting the ice rod, which he needs to in order to fight Trinex. And actually, you only need it for the purpose of fighting Trinex. And then he'll also be climbing Death Mountain to get Ether, which he will need to open Misery Mire. JaySee making use of the sword climb here. He's going to hold his sword and then try to hit Y and A on the same frame for an item dash with the hook shot, and that allows him to climb those stairs really fast. Save and quit is not allowed in this tournament. It's not allowed in the category for speedrunning, but there is one exception. If a player fake flip or soft locks, we have agreed to allow it for the purposes of this tournament. In that specific scenario, a player would be allowed to save and quit. And the reason is, you know, if you save and quit out of that, you lose 15 or 20 seconds or something. If we maintained a strict banning of save and quit, it would lose more like 18 minutes. So that's the only scenario we allow it in. The flippers don't soft lock. It's fake flippers that can soft lock. Between Desert Palace and Tower of Hera on that overworld, there's a little fake flipper trick you can use to save a few seconds. Most players will be going for it in this tournament, just because it's the fastest thing to do, but it does have that soft lock risk. I believe coming up is going to be one of the things JaySee will do differently from just about everyone else. I don't think he grabs this magic. Yeah, there's a magic in the top right pot there that JaySee doesn't get. And the reason he doesn't get it is so he can use fake powder, which I'll be talking about when we get there. But fake powder, to set it up, requires running completely dry in your magic meter. It's interesting he ran out completely there. I wonder, because he needs magic to lay a Samaria block in the first room downstairs. I wonder where he gets that. Or if that was a mistake. I'm not sure. Or maybe he plans to use it early? I don't know. We'll see. Oh, he's just gonna use it early. I see. Yeah, this getting this small key requires taking a good bit of damage. Optimally only 3 hearts, but JaySee took a little bit of extra there. And yeah, he's gonna do fake powder in this room. He's gonna use the cane, and then he's gonna get the no magic message, and then right after he cancels out of that message, he's gonna switch to the mushroom. And for whatever reason, the game decides to use powder there instead of mushroom. So, and he gets that full magic jar, and now he's on his way. The advantage to this route is that you didn't have to waste, 35, 40 seconds getting powder during the Thieves segment, but he still has access to it without losing much time. Full health is really convenient for fighting Vitreous. You can definitely afford to mess something up. The only problem with fake powder is that it depends on having the Cane of Samaria. Like, that is one of the absolutely necessary things you need. Wow, Vitreous. Oh, almost gets the Zero Lightning, but not quite. Meanwhile, Nicky on the Argus fight. Oh no, JC... Okay, never mind. Or maybe not. Or maybe yes. Okay. I guess his capture card or something is having some issues. Hopefully it's all sorted now. Nicky killing Argus, getting the Swamp Crystal. Clearly a splice run, yeah. One of the nice things about this tournament, though, in a serious, not joke fashion, is that runners will be exchanging file names throughout the tournament. And I wasn't in the race chat for this race when it got started up, but I'm pretty sure they have exchanged file names, and so that definitely pretty much eliminates the chance that any of these races will be cheated. Nice screen game. JC coming up on Turtle Rock here. Nicky collecting Ether. In Randomizer, you don't know that players aren't stream watching, really. You just have to have good faith in them. This is not Randomizer, though, so players can feel free to be in the restream watching. It doesn't matter. You already know where all the items are. Yeah, no, Timon. JC mirroring out of Roller's room. That's not a bad safe strat at all. It loses about 5 seconds, but it's way less risky. The Rollers do a lot of damage, as do these chain jumps. They do 4 hearts. Yeah, you really need to make sure you have that Cane of Samaria block closer to one switch, so you have time to get up on the pegs. He had it too much in the middle of the room there. Also, Nicky using Quake in this room. It's been a while since I've seen that strategy. This room JC's in can go horribly wrong, but he gets it just fine. There are 4 different RNGs in that room that you kind of have to learn and practice in order to be consistent with it. There's one particular RNG, bottom left, that can really trip up lesser experienced players quite a bit. Oh, and Nicky accidentally goes upstairs. It should be fine though. With half magic, I don't think she actually needs that magic pot. JC in one of my least favorite rooms from my childhood. Of course, on a speedrun, we have the maze completely memorized, and the fastest way through it is known. The damage she took there is completely intentional. Oh no. JC getting hit there. Needs to be careful. If he gets hit here, he's dead. Okay. Okay. Those lasers do 4 hearts, so he he was in some deep trouble there, but oh no! And the Pokey does 4 hearts too, and he just wasn't able to get. He was going for triggering the pegs while he was standing on them, and that normally gives Link iframes, but he activated it just... It had to be like frames too slowly, and ended up dying. Nicky is coming up on Viddy. You might think, oh no, 4 hearts. But I think, well, she has powder, so she'll be able to get this anti-fairy in the room right before Vitreous. And I think I'm pretty sure she also still has her bottle fairy. I haven't seen her die yet. Oh no. Needs to be careful here. Oh, takes a death. Unfortunately, she still has a lot of little eyes left, so... Fairies in this game only refill you to 7 hearts. So this is really scary. One hit from anything. The lightning will leave her at 1 heart, but the little eyes will kill her. Okay, okay. We should be in the clear. Just needs to get 8 arrows in on this big eye. Alright, we're through. It was a tough fight, but we got through the whole thing. No deaths. Well, a death with a fairy revive, but no actual death. And I also managed to go the entire Vitreous fight without making a single eyeball-related pun, which is an accomplishment in this community. Some people can't even go a 10-second Vidi fight without making an eyeball pun. JaySee getting through Turtle Rock on his 2nd try. I believe he got a fairy in the double Poké's room. That certainly helps out. I guess someone will have to clip that for Scrivo and show it to him later. JaySee is through with Turtle Rock. Nicky is going to Turtle Rock. I believe she got the Bonkrot's Fairy. I didn't actually, or she's going to get it rather. Oh no, accidentally collects it. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. There are other fairies to catch in Turtle Rock using the powder. I'd say JaySee is definitely several minutes ahead. This boomerang and hookshot strat that JaySee is doing is actually pretty hard to do. It's a lot of inputs very quickly. Messed it up at first, but was able to get it the 2nd try. It was a mistake for me to even mention puns, clearly. I'll do better next time. Oh, JaySee actually getting his magic drained a bit there. getting ice Icearmos okay, though. That fight can go really poorly. It's quite a bit harder than the first Armos fight because it's on ice, and ice physics can be quite a pain to deal with. Also, Nicky getting her bottle fairy in right there. JaySee going for a little bit of swag on that bow dash there. Pretty sure it's not actually faster, but it just looks cool. JaySee going through a tough series of rooms here that we call the Gauntlet. It's 5 rooms where you have to clear out the enemies in every single one. Requires a lot of good reactions to RNGs. Wow, that red horse head was just dodging every one of his slashes. Vicky coming up on laser skip. This is a really deadly room. Like I was saying with JaySee, the lasers do 4 hearts, and it's a pretty precise dash to get in. Only the back half of the laser actually has a hitbox. Looks like she's thinking about... Well, she has a fairy, so... Ah, she gets through. This is very good. Now needs to get out. It's not the worst thing to take that fall there. JaySee is wasting his magic for another fake powder attempt in this next room. Powder's very strong in here. There are 2 anti-fairies right in her way. We'll let anti-fairy into bunny beam. Yep. Up to full hearts just like that. Oh no, JaySee falling at Moleworm 2. I'm guessing he's going for the hover. I was actually watching Nicky's screen when he came in here. Or no, he's not going for the hover. Nicky needs to be a little careful here. Shouldn't be too bad with the bottle fairy and half magic though. Now JaySee on Aghanim 2. Aghanim 2 works quite a bit differently from the first one. He has these 2 clones he spawns. This fight's pretty tough to be good at. It's a lot like Landmo 1 in a way. It takes a lot of experience to consistently get low cycle fights. JaySee will be moving into Ganon. Ganon with the Tempered Sword is a really difficult boss fight. He's going to be going for what we call the 1-in-1, which is one cycling these first 2 phases. This first phase where he warps around and throws the trident. Hopefully he's gotten done with that now. Yeah, he has. And now he'll be on the second phase where he summons this Fire Bat Ring. Hopefully JaySee has done enough damage to get through that as well, and it looks like he has. And now he's on this third phase where he just warps around and wastes your time. This phase is completely random. It's definitely the most annoying phase. Every extra warp Ganon gives you wastes 1.5 to 2 seconds, depending on how long the warp is. But now he'll be starting the 4th phase, where these torches are supposed to go out, but JaySee can light the left torch before the right one actually goes out, and the right one will stay lit if you do this. So now JaySee gets to do the rest of the fight, only worrying about the left torch. And you may also be wondering, well, I thought you had to collect the silver arrows to fight Ganon. How's he just damaging him with a sword? Well, Ganon has this these frames where he can take damage from a spin attack right before he starts his warps. So that's what you see happening here. JaySee gets through. He finishes with a 133.48. GG's to him. See if I can get him in for a little interview. Just invited him in for an interview. I don't believe that run was too far off his PB, actually. Let me check. According to speedrun.com, that run was only 30 seconds off of JaySee's PB. So I think JaySee is definitely due for a PB. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he PBs at some point during this tournament. He had a pretty big death there in Turtle Rock that definitely lost more than 30 seconds. Or it was plus 40 on his PV. Wow, I can't do math, man. Thanks for correcting me, Shitty Force. It is a well-known thing that my math is quite awful. And yeah, this definitely should according to speedrun.com, Nicky has a 2-hour time, which means she's definitely capable of getting a PB here. Like, I can tell just based on where the timer is right now. I still don't know if we'll be getting JaySee in here or not. Wow, the fire rod strat. Gosh, these gauntlet rooms are so brutal, with the BMOS especially. This is the nice thing about half magic is you don't need the refill in that room. I assume she'll be powdering in the room before Mold Worm 2, which is an extremely nice place to powder. She also has the red mail, which will make Ganon do quite a bit less damage. I think at this point she just needs to slash or dash his tail again. And yeah, there it is. And we have JaySee in here.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Well, that was a pretty good run up until that Pokey Death.
Yeah, we noticed that your PB on speedrun.com is accurate, right? It's the 133.08.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you finished plus 40 with that death. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was 2.5 minutes off gold on T-Rock because of that, but my PB split wasn't very hot. I only lost 1 minute and 11 seconds on that one.
Oh wow, yeah.
So that's normally a pretty consistent time save for me.
Yeah, I'm betting you'll be able to PB during one of these tournament races. You're just very capable of it right now, judging by that run and the run you had earlier in the tournament even.
Yeah, that was still pretty good.
So you're 1-1 now, correct?
Yes.
Won this race, and yeah. So you only have one match left. Who's that match against?
That's gonna be against Phileon.
Oh, okay. Phileon's been in chat, I think, watching this.
I think he has like a 138, so it can be pretty close depending on how deaths go.
Yeah. It seems your opponent in this race, Nikki, is she's entering Ganon at 141 when she has a 2-hour PB, so we're hoping for.
I think it'll be a PB. Oh wow,
that'll be a
already.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is likely a PB.
So nice to see people going straight to tempered Ganon already. When a lot of people will, at least when I first started, say don't do it until you're like 135 or so.
Yeah, that was the common wisdom when I first started too. Some players definitely like to go to it early though, because they feel like it's better to start practicing the right way early and get that into your muscle memory as early as possible. So,
and I'm more on that.
Yeah.
On that mindset.
I definitely kept it to like 133 or something. She gets the torch glitch. It's not hard at all to do if you just do that lantern spam. There's a pretty big window. Doing it with the fire rod is a lot more tricky because you can't just spam Y and have the fire rod work. You have to actually time it.
Ooh, we don't see very many people get half magic.
Yeah. Half magic's really strong though if you haven't really practiced your Trinex and Cold Stare fights yet.
Yeah, it's really nice on Cold Stare, especially once he breaks away.
Yeah, it really is. Doesn't seem bad at spinning Ganon at all, really.
Yeah, it's just one of those fights that takes. I think I practiced this fight for like 9 or 10 hours before I started getting hang of it.
Yeah, it's a tough fight, and it takes a while to understand like little things like how to bait the fire bat in this 4th phase properly, so you're safe from getting hit by it. And just the timing on when to release the spins, how close you need to be to him, you know. It takes a good bit of practice. Oh, she gets him down. Yeah, this is a huge PB, assuming the time on speedrun that comes updated. This is like a 15-16 minute PB. Oh, and she's joined us here.
GG.
GG.
It's still a PB by about 4 minutes. But,
how many minutes?
3:15.
Oh, 4 minutes. Okay. So you had a 148.
Yeah, I had I did 1 day of runs so that I could submit something for the tournament. Then at some point I did some more runs and got a 148. And then during the past weeks I did some attempts and never finished anything. So even though this felt like a really bad train wreck, it was still an easy PB.
Yeah, it's really nice to get a 4-minute PB in a tournament race. That's pretty sick.
That was, yeah. I know I can easily be 1.5 minutes ahead at Egg Tower, even though 0 blue balls. Why is this run?
Chat got really excited about the 0 blue balls. They were freaking out.
Yeah, but basically from then on also, I mean, sure, Helmasaur, that was panic, is but just blind, but yeah, Dark World had a lot of gold splits.
Yeah, it had to have been a really nice run to get 4 minutes off. We were freaking out even more because we thought your PB was like 2 hours from from looking at what was submitted on speedrun.com. So we're like, oh my gosh, she's gonna PB by 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, I didn't see you in the room, so I didn't also know who commentates, else I would have contacted you beforehand.
Yeah, I was late to the commentary. I wasn't going to commentate, so I needed to do stuff, but they really needed someone. No one had signed up, so.
Thanks for commentating. I know especially most in the Zelda community seem to be American, and this is not the perfect time for commentating.
Yeah. Alright, let me check what we've got coming up on the speed gaming schedule. Let's see, I think we have an hour break at 12 p.m., but back at 1 p.m. on Speed Gaming 3 with The End Is Nigh. And for more Link to the Past, we'll be back at 2 p.m. Eastern for more tournament matches then. Looks like the 2 p.m. race will be a quad between Blunt Bunny versus Drunken Draconian and Super Nintailor versus Bamboo Shadow. And like I said, that will be on Speed Gaming too. So I think we're going to sign off here. Thanks to both of you for doing this race. It was a really good show. And congrats on the PB, Nikki, and the win, JC.
Yeah, congrats on the time, JC. At least from what I remember, your PB to be, your run must have gone pretty good.
Yeah, thanks to the tournament organizers for running this tournament and Speed Gaming for hosting us. Have a good day, everyone. We'll be back with more later.
See ya.